I want you to listen to a video that was forwarded to me just a few moments ago. This is a hot item from Bob Unger. And this video, you're going to hear the audio segment of it and see the actual footage of what the Pentagon and the Homeland Security and other people are lying about. You will see the lie right before your very eyes when this video is exposed. And I'm going to release it in just a moment. It was posted up by Western Journalism and forwarded to me by Bob Unger. There is a plan to suspend elections going forward, and we've been talking about this for some time, in addition to martial law. Seriously, listen to this, watch this, and then we'll be back with more discussion. Roll that clip.
On January 23, 2014, the U.S. Army, part of the Asymmetric Warfare Group, had a ribbon-cutting ceremony commemorating the opening of an urban warfare training facility. The $100 million, 300-acre facility is an extension of Fort A.P. Hill, located outside of Bowling Green, Virginia. According to the U.S. Army press release, the training facility will be used to train soldiers for urban warfare deployed in Middle Eastern locations. The U.S. Army described Fake City contains, according to their press release, quote, a mosque, a soccer stadium, a subway station complete with subway cars, and a train station with real rail cars. But according to a video of the training facility, this is not a replica of a foreign city. This is a replica of an American city, complete with American signs with such attention to detail as disabled parking placards. According to insiders, the subway even has a logo of that used in Washington, D.C. The so-called mosque described in the press release is plainly an American church. Why is the U.S. Army lying about the purpose of this training facility? Why not admit that they're preparing to roam the streets of America? Because what they're training for is illegal, treasonous. According to the Posse Comitatus Act, the military is forbidden from taking on the police powers of local and state police. There is only one exception to this, when the President of the United States declares martial law. That can only mean one thing. Barack Hussein Obama is anticipating some cataclysmic event that will require the declaration of martial law and suspension of elections. This explains the Obama administration's nonstop call for so-called gun control, the goal being a disarmed population and nullification of the Second Amendment. This explains the Department of Homeland Security buying up billions of rounds of ammunition, most recently 140,000 rounds of the type used exclusively by snipers. This explains the Obama administration stockpiling thousands of armored vehicles and light armored tanks on full display during the dry run of martial law after the Boston bombing. This explains Obama signing the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, that allows the military to imprison Americans indefinitely without due process. What exactly is Obama planning with martial law declared, with the military roaming the streets, with Department of Homeland Security snipers perched on top of buildings ready to take out Americans? We should impeach Obama before we get a chance to find out.
All right, you've heard it. Clearly, succinctly outlined. Martial law is coming, and all the seeds and signs are there. This so-called likeness of a military training center that should resemble a Mideastern city or Islamic city and compound. They lied and said it contained a mosque when it doesn't. It contains a church. There are actually highway signs and parking signs that mimic an American city and a subway station, while they are telling us, however, that this is a military training center to do Islamic warfare, when actually it's clear now by looking at this video. You can see this is about martial law and about tanks roaming American cities and soldiers and troops taking full control over train stations, bus stations, highways, etc. They purchased literally 1 billion rounds of hollow point bullets that Homeland Security has that are outlawed by the Geneva Convention cannot be used on foreign battlefields. And they've also purchased the amount you just heard of bullets that can be used specifically by snipers. So now here, my thing is this. I've been saying this for years. There will not be an election in 2016. That Obama will create and call for martial law, but there'll be a lot of other things that will be under the bridge before we actually get to his suspension of the 2016 elections. And the Boston bombing, I stated, was nothing more than a dry run. It was a training day exercise so that the Homeland Security, CIA, FBI, and every other agency, including some Chinese agencies, could work in conjunction in shutting down an entire city. Boston was the one they chose. Boston was the one that endured, or Boston was the one that was featured by the New World Order and these globalists led by Obama to actually shut down America at some point in time. It's coming. I've been saying this, but that's nothing new for you. You know that. What I've also been saying, but I want you to rethink is what the hell is going on in the minds of people that sit and watch Bill O'Reilly, listen to Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh and all these so-called conservatives, gatekeepers of the news that they worship and send their ratings through the roof when they know all of this as well, but yet they won't tell it. They know this. Rush Limbaugh knows this. Glenn Beck knows it. Bill O'Reilly knows it. And a gun is not being put to their heads for them to continue to deceive you, to keep you acting like black people. You so-called conservatives, you people that are so-called, if you will, Republicans, patriots, libertarians. You're just like black people who go for the okie doke. Black people go for the okie doke of Al Sharpton, and white people go for the okie doke of Glenn Beck. They're all the same in Rush Limbaugh and Bill O'Reilly. My question is, you realize that they know this about Obama. They've been paid and will probably be given amnesty when the deal really and truly and fully goes down. They will escape all of this by keeping you, but they're jeopardizing you, your fortunes, your financial fortunes if you have them, your children, their posterity. All of this being jeopardized, and you're sitting there every day watching this, watching Bill O'Reilly. Can't wait to turn him on. I mean, having orgasms when he comes on with his talking points or whatever it is that he does, or Glenn Beck with that wacko personality of his. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you? Can't you see what Glenn Beck, can't you see what Rush Limbaugh, can't you see what Bill, can't you see what these people are doing to you? And yet you look across the fence at black people and say to them, hey, can't you see what Al Sharpton, can't you see what Obama, can't you see what Jesse Jackson, can't you see what they're doing to you? Someone asked me, well, what's the difference, but what is it that Glenn Beck has done so wrong? First of all, he's a coward. And the other thing is he's a Mormon, but you can live with that maybe. But he's a lying, two-toed sellout is what he is. Here, you know this man knows the truth. Does he talk this kind of truth you just saw? Right? He doesn't tell you this, and if he does it in such a way as not to implicate Obama. And Bill O'Reilly, the same thing. They're the exact same thing. They're just gatekeepers, and they understand the tension that's necessary. Just give a little bit of information about such things that Glenn Beck will give you, but he won't give you the whole truth. Same thing with Rush Limbaugh, but they're all getting paid. Each one of these, not one of these persons make less than $40 million a year. Not one of them make less than $1 million per week. All right, so what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna turn on Bill O'Reilly tonight? You can't wait to hear Glenn Beck and that wacko. That man is a wacko. He needs psychiatric help. And Rush Limbaugh, probably the only reason why they don't have to put a gun to his head, all they got to do is report that he's back on drugs and that he's never gotten off of drugs and that he's using drugs and can go to jail for doctor shopping right this very moment, not something that happened 7 years ago, but right this very, so he gets on and he bamboozles. You people sitting out there, you're acting worse than black people. There was a lot of black people listening to me too. But I said, my God, from Zion, there ain't no hope in America anymore. I can't convince black people to turn her loose, stop sucking Al Sharpton's titties, and I can't convince white people to stop sucking Bill O'Reilly, Rush Limbaugh, and Glenn Beck's tits. Sickening. America's getting ready to go down no further. There'll never be another president. Martial law, FEMA camps, and y'all are sitting there watching these people every night and won't stand up and unite with the truth. I can hardly believe that people can be as I'm still struggling with the fact that black people are as crazy as they are.